Well, I've got everything set up now, so why don't we get started? First off, thank you all of you guys for taking the time to like come on this podcast. And for me, who's like, I think, well, for Mac, I think we've had some back and forth in the past a little bit when you've rated my stream, and for June, we've had some back and forth as well with you rating my stream and also hanging out on stream every now and then. But I think for Tesla, we've actually like I don't think I've ever talked to you before this stream or this kind of
Yeah,
like
yeah.
interaction at all. So thank you, just like out of nowhere, for like, having me reach out to you guys and being like willing
Nah, no
to be on
problem.
here. But I guess to start off, like, how's everybody doing? Like, how's everything going? And would love to have like you guys introduce yourselves first as well. And we kind of little bit of introduction, but just formally. I guess maybe we'll start with Mac.
Oh, sure. I'm a player from Chile.
Mm-hmm.
I started playing Lost Ark from the Russian launch. I don't remember how much time it passed. I think it's like 5 years ago or more. And I used to
Holy shit.
stream League of Legends originally. I don't know how I ended up here. I just remember I was really happy that finally Lost Ark came in the West because I remember we were waiting for like 8 years since the first announcement on G Star in Korea. So we had a lot of community very hyped to play the game, and I was one of them paying VPN and stuff. So I ended up making a video one day, and people started asking me like, "Can you stream on Twitch, please? We want to talk to you." And now my chat has me like trapped here as a streamer. It's a really fun experience. I really enjoy talking with everyone now. I think it's really funny.
Mm-hmm. Got it. And so you've how long have you been playing? So you've been playing Lost Ark since the Russian server, right?
Yeah,
Was that before Lost Ark came out here?
yeah, it's from before. I was playing a Dead Eye there in Russia. But no one
Got
used to
it.
play back then since you had to pay and make like a Russian account and stuff. It was harder to play.
Got it. Got it. And right now, what is your roster? So you've been wait. So in terms of years, how long? How many years have you been playing?
I think it must be like 5 years, maybe 4 or 5 years.
5 years. Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I'm from launch on West, so it's been like 2 years being really active playing. I used to play on SA and A and Russia at the same time. And now I'm just playing on NA since we got merged. Now life is easier for me. I used to be a really grindy player. Now I'm chilling, waiting for T4. Yeah.
What's your roster looking like right now?
Oh, I'm just trying to get into 1620. I'm trying to push my main to time and hard now, but I think I'm waiting to see what is going to happen with Korea before doing anything with my roster. And since the Korean patch came this week, I think we have to wait a little to see what they will do in the future, since we don't
Hi.
have still a lot of information.
That makes sense. That makes sense. So what characters do you play and what's your main?
Oh, I'm a main Deadeye still. I used to
Okay.
play Deadeye in Russia. I fell in love with the Deadeye. I'm married with him right now. I really love the class, even if it's hard to play. It has an awful defense, but I think it's the best class for me. I think it's
Uh-huh.
really fun, like switching weapons and stances. Really enjoyable.
Do you play
So
all
even
Deadeyes or
if
do you play other characters?
I main a Deadeye, I'm playing a Breaker too now. I have a Pally, I have a Soulfist, and now I added to my roster a Slayer. I had to take away my Scouter because people were gatekeeping my Scouter. I feel sorry for that. I miss him.
Hmm.
And I'm also playing. I tried to play Soul Eater, but I didn't really enjoy it.
Hmm.
It's kind
Okay.
of weird. Everyone loves Soul Eater, but I don't know why I couldn't play it.
No, it's kind of the same for me. My Soul Eater is kind of the character that I think I I thought about dropping it at one point actually. So
Mm.
I don't think it's a surprising thing at all. I think it's
And
just
my last character is a Zork. And it's a really fun story because I didn't like playing Zork, but when I went to my relic set, she got a 97 quality weapon on its first tap. And I was like, whoa, Then I
That's
was
very
like
nice.
literally going to change her again, and I was streaming on a Saturday, and I was making a stone, and it was a 9-7, and I was like, bro, is she trying to like curse me to play her? So I never delete her because she has the 9-7 stone and the 97 quality.
It's time to
So
main
she's like
swap.
my toxic relation there. I can't get
No,
rid of her.
You
I
were
get
forced to like her.
Yeah, it was like Gold River saying, "You are going to main Zork, and you're going to like her."
yeah.
I mean, it's a good moment to main Zork anyway. So
Yeah, the New Awakening looks great.
Sork
That
is
huge
very
Densei,
strong.
whoa, whoa, whoa.
Got it. Okay, so that's your roster and everything. What about you, Tesla? Can you talk a little about yourself? How long you've been playing Lost Ark for, and what your roster looks like?
I'm playing Lost Ark since the beginning here in your version, but I played before that 3 months on the Russian server to see if let me check if I like this game. So
Mm-hmm.
I had a paladin there, and the first time that I entered there at Kakuseido, uh, I fall in love because that's the game I want to play this shit, you know. And while I was there, I was just playing a little bit to understand more of the game, so I would be ready to the Western version.
Mm-hmm.
So
Got it.
since then, I'm playing. I never stopped.
Got it. Got it. And
In
what about your roster?
today, yeah, I was a paladin main some time ago, like last year, and I started to change for my war dancer because she was being too lucky, too lucky, and the paladin was hard to honing. Now I have my war dancer at 1640.
Ooh,
I I put
nice.
I pushed her like 1 month, 2 months ago to no 1 month, more than 1 month to 6030 before Eklina
Mm-hmm.
to do time mining hard, to be ready to do action hard. So now with the advanced honey 6040.
Nice.
I
Nice.
already have still have my paladin. It's 6020. Soul Eater, Night's Edge, 622. And Demonic Impulse, 622. These four. And today I'm focusing in this four because too much things to do with
Mm-hmm.
your alternative characters, like Transcendence, Elixir. It's too much thing. So the other two, I made. It's like sometimes I do something to get the gold. I have a breaker, Burger King, but I'm not like I'm like kind of tired of him. And artist in 16 eating level 2, the both.
So you have a
And
lot of characters above 1600, 1610.
yeah. I have another ones like 15. Sorry, yeah, 1580. More two characters in this eating level, but I don't play with them. Just the six ones, mainly six ones, and that's it.
Got it. Got it. But yeah, I mean, you have a lot of really strong characters, which is great. And I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
and I guess with Jun, what about you? How long have you been playing Lost Ark for? And what's your roster looking like?
I've been playing Lost Ark since the release in the West, so that would be like a little bit over 2 years. And I'm an Empress Arcana main. I cannot express just how addicting it is to play Arcana for me. Just I feel like everything in this game should be like that kind of RNG that is so satisfying instead of like what we have now. It's like just having the card system and everything for me is the best. The Well, on my roster, I have a sorcerer, a shadow hunter, a demonic suppression shadow hunter. I have a soul eater, a robust spirit soul fist, a bard, and a master summoner, and another lower level arcanist. Um, so yeah, for me it has been quite the interesting experience because I've had like the experience of being a streamer that plays Lost Ark, and I've also had the experience of only playing Lost Ark as just a regular player. You know,
Mhm.
so that has been more or less my experience with the game. It's only from what I've seen here on the West.
I see, I see. And when did you start streaming?
I actually I had my first ever anniversary like a couple of months ago. It's been
Nice.
only over a year,
Oh
and
wow.
I feel like for how people talk about how long it takes you to actually gain traction as a streamer, I feel like it's been not so long. But yeah, I started streaming, and what I did at the beginning was that I learned how to do solo Voltan, and I had the plan to actually sell carries and stream that, but then I
Mhm.
said, you know what, I don't think I can actually it's not gonna be very enjoyable maybe. So then I just started giving free carries for people.
Oh wow.
And yes, that was the beginning of my content. I started to do free carries for Voltan. Then I had a couple of friends help me with free carries for Vikas. And then I had actual characters that were able to more or less solo Kakul Satan and so on and so forth. So I was able to kind of like get my roster to a point where I was able to do all the lower level raids, like Vrel normal, Kayangel normal, and I could like help people build their characters. So my content mainly revolved around if you have a character that is constantly getting gatekept, that doesn't have any engravings, if you have no gems, if you have no cards, or you simply want to get the gold and you're not getting invited into any groups, you can come to my raids. All I ask you to do is to do some mechanics and I'll kill the boss. That was my content at the beginning. And that's how I started to like grow a little bit, and I found probably one of the best communities that I could ever ask for, because then people start to help me help other players get their characters you know geared up. So that's how I started streaming in Lost Ark, at least.
That's so awesome. I mean, if only there could be more people like you helping other people out. Instead, we have people who, when you mess up once or twice in a raid, they just kick you or they gatekeep you.
Yeah, well, it is what it is. I think I'm in a position where I'm kind of like distancing myself from the game. I
Uh-huh.
think I've started to understand why that kind of thing happens so much, and now that I can kind of like visualize it, I'm getting very frustrated with Smilegate as a company,
Mm.
right? So it's I have a little bit of opinions on that, but we'll see what we can actually talk about during the podcast. So we'll see later on.
For sure, for sure. And I think we'll have opportunities to talk about that. But it's good to just, I think, especially well, everybody in this SA audience probably knows who you guys are. But in, like, for example, my audience, they probably don't know who you are. And probably your audience doesn't know who I am, I guess. So it's good to just get, like, an introduction of everybody just to see, get familiar with everybody. So thank you guys for doing that. But, I mean, we kind of started this conversation earlier before the podcast by talking about like tier 4 and how we're all excited about tier 4. What have you guys seen of it and what are your thoughts?
I can talk. I'm very happy because today why I play Lost Ark is because of the battle system. The
Mm-hmm.
the, the gaming, the raid are fun. The battle, the fighting style of the I don't know how to speak in
Oh
English.
yeah, we get it.
Uh,
The
the
combat.
combat,
Yes.
I play Lost Ark because of that. I love this, but the systems, I kind of hated them.
Uh-huh.
So with D4, we have the possibility of make these systems, these bad systems that we have today, better. So I still will have my raid, my combat that I love with better systems, more flexible systems that one that you can change your class easily between builds. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's great. I'm
Yeah.
already I'm hyped. I'm hyped.
That's good. That's good. I mean, same. I'm very excited for the changes, and honestly, I think there were a lot of people that were a little bit skeptical about it, or like they were like, I'm not sure if this is the best for the game when it first came out, but I'm really looking forward to it. I think it is
Yeah.
going to be a lot of very good changes that a lot of people are going to like. And it's just going to be a lot of fun in general. I think anytime there's something new, it's going to be a lot of fun. But yeah, what
Yeah,
about
and the fact that we will have a lot of soft resets,
hmm
it will be great for new players because today on tier 3 we have a lot of barriers, you know,
hmm
for you to get gatekeep it, elixir, item level, roster level, a lot of things. And that in T4, a lot of things will have this soft reset that will help the new players as well. I love that.
Yeah, definitely. What about you? What are the other guys? What do you guys think? I know Mac, you came in first. You're like, I loved this update. This is great. I'm so excited about it.
Yeah.
I was reading I was reading for like 2 hours the Korean patch on Wednesday, and I really I enjoy how they are working like to tweak the gameplay of some classes. Like as an example, when you make the Gunlancer dash to the front, or
Mm-hmm.
making the Blaster TP on its identity. I also think the new Awakenings look great. I mean, it's like the most basic the most basic form of making people want to play something. Like, look, this guy is making a huge explosion. Like, oh, everyone is like, I want to play that game. It has cool animations. And I also think that it's nice to see that they are finally like lowering like the item level requirement. I felt like on the last months of Lost Ark, they used to make too much content with a high item level.
Mm-hmm.
They also locked like the lore of the game with Time and Heart. They locked most of the Transcendent system with Time and Heart also. And I think most of the people weren't prepared for that in that short time.
Mm-hmm.
So I really feel like this soft reset might help us in the West a little to catch up with Korea. I also enjoyed like the way that engraves are going to work now. Now that you have to like literally just select them and try to collect the new books and stuff. I think everything's fine. The only thing that I don't really enjoy of the game so far is what everyone hates in the West, that are those systems that make you burn gold like crazy. And I feel that Smite and Amazon haven't done a really great job localizing the game here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we have like 2 months to farm what Korea had like half a year to farm. And I see a lot of people getting it kept because they don't have even gold to hone or gear up their characters. So hopefully I expect that this soft reset might help us a little.
Mm-hmm.
But so far it looks fine for me. I mean, cool hyper awakenings. That's cool for me. I'm a basic person.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, I mean, I think that everybody is hoping that the soft reset will make it better for new players for sure. And June, how much are you playing Lost Ark these days? I know you talked about stepping away a little bit. Are you still playing it on a regular basis, and have you looked into tier 4 much at all?
I've looked into tier 4. I'm not playing a lot lately. I've been starting to play, for example, like Dota, World of
Mm.
Warcraft. These are games that I played before. I'm just right now. I'm doing whatever on stream. I do very short streams now. I can only stream 2 times a week, which is the reason why I never wanted to do like learning groups. It was always carries because I didn't have enough time to like sit down 3 hours learning group progress. So it was better for me to just carry the people, and then I can move on to another content. So the right now what I'm doing in Lost Ark, I log in, I farm some gold, and then I give it away. I do giveaways.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just 10K. Just like I do like a roulette. I put the names of the people in the chat. Just give away. Just have your gold because I'm not using it. I have no interest on like progressing in the game right now, so I'm not playing a lot. The best thing that has happened for me actually has been a game called Sea of Stars, which is like a pixel art game, like turn-based RPG, and it's been nice because it has like really rekindled the passion that I have for games in general, especially like RPG games. So lately I'm just trying to like continue down the trend of like trying to help other people. I feel like lately and just in general my stream has been about living or experiencing this game in a like vicarious way, you know, like just trying to have fun by seeing that other people can also have fun. And so right now I'm playing like maybe once on my streams just to like get some gold to give away, and that's it.
Do you see yourself playing a little bit more when Tier 4 comes out?
Probably the thing that I'm most excited about from the changes is actually the engraving changes. The class engravings, I feel that, and in also the regular engravings, I feel that in concept, many of them are very boring. Is like percentage increase to X thing that deals damage, or just percentage increase to your damage. And to me, the best thing that a game can offer you is like player expression. When people can just grab things and experiment and just do random shit that is that can be fun for them. I think that's the best way to attract people into just interacting with your gameplay and with your game in general, right? So the engraving systems that we are going to have seem to be bringing that new, refreshing change that will allow people to kind of figure out new ways and different ways to play the classes that we have. Right now, everything is very static. We use like 5 engravings, and that's it.
The meta builds, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and if you don't play meta, sometimes you even get you have like consequences for it. So just that idea of being able to really experiment and just try to find out new ways to play the different characters and everything, that is very exciting for me. It is gameplay focused interaction with the game. Everything else I hate. I'm sorry, just
No, don't be.
Yeah. And the thing that I'm still sad about, is the elixir system. Man, I hate that shit.
no, I think everybody in like the world is not really enjoying that system.
Yeah, and they are not doing anything, just less cost. But that's not the problem. The system is bad, not the gold cost. I hate to do that shit, you know, and I have to do that for my demonic impulse. But I don't. No, that point for me is the sad about everything that's coming new for us.
The worst part is that even if people is asking for that since literally months ago, the only solution that we have so far is literally changing the game files that some user made on Reddit, and it's completely illegal.
I
But
saw
there's
that.
people risking their accounts to do it because they really can't stand the animation and do you like it? It's so annoying, man.
I don't know if you guys
tired.
know about this. This is also implemented on the honing system. Sometimes these slow animations kind of like try to trick you into thinking that maybe you were very close to succeeding. So with honing and with elixirs, it's like you always have this like suggestion from the game, or this like not suggestion, like this it's kind of like a form of manipulation that makes you believe that you were very close to getting the elixir or the honing, but it's actually just random. It's just you're not really close. It's just the same as always, but you want to try again because you have the illusion that you might be getting into something. And so I have a problem with many of the systems of Lost Ark because it is clear that they have gambling, or just like the psychology behind gambling, very present on their design, and I have a lot of problems with that. I don't like that. I'm really like against it. it's the reason why I'm like just finally over it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a lot with like Korean MMOs as well. I don't know if any of you guys have played any other Korean MMOs other than Lost Ark.
Video,
Not really.
I played a lot
Oh, okay.
when it
More
come
online.
to us.
I've only heard about things,
Yeah.
I would look at the insane things that were happening on these games. I was like, okay, maybe I should, not even touch them.
Yeah, and with Tesla, you play BDO, and then Mac, you play Boo Online. I'm sure like these RNG systems are very much similar in those games as well. I don't know if it's as bad or if it's
Yeah.
better, but there's a lot of similar kind of RNG systems in those games as well.
I think maybe Tesla can say something about this. I've heard that video is actually worse than Lost Ark.
Yeah, exactly. In my time, it was worse because when you try to level up a accessory, if you fail, it is destroyed. You lose it.
It destroyed the item.
And when I played, I don't know how is
Maybe not now.
today.
All right.
Yeah, maybe not now, but there it was bad. It was very hard. But only I think this only was for accessories, not for everything.
Still terrible. Like you're
Yeah.
just gambling for a chance of getting, an upgrade, and the risk is that
Or
you will
lose
lose
everything.
the item. Right?
Yeah,
no, terrible.
So when I changed to Lost Ark, well, it's not that bad.
Somebody's saying on the chat that accessories still get destroyed when you raw tap them. So it's
Really?
apparently you have to use like an
Holy
item that
shit.
protects the item from being destroyed.
I see.
Yeah, so it hasn't really
terrible. But
changed
you-
much, it seems.
Holy shit. Yeah, it's the worst.
Yeah, at least in Lost Ark that doesn't really happen because I used to play Maple Story 1 and 2, and that would happen if you not Maple Story 2, but Maple Story 1 at some point if you were upgrading your items, if you failed it would destroy the item, which was not great. It's just a very typical Korean MMO type of thing, unfortunately. And it kind of sucks that those are in these games because I don't know. I like playing these games and like playing these types of MMOs, but unfortunately, a lot of times they have, like you keep saying, Tesla, very bad systems in them that make it just really annoying to play.
The combat, the raids are good. Fuck.
Yeah, it's like the game itself is so good, but then all these systems
Yeah,
on the
exactly.
side just make it really frustrating to deal with.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm happy with Tier 4 because some of the systems will be better.
Mm-hmm. Let's hope it continues to be that way too, because we can always like put some things in the game that are great, and then later it's like elixirs didn't exist when the game first came out, but then they added it later. So maybe right now Tier 4 looks good, so hopefully it continues to look good in the future. But I mean, there's definitely a lot of positives, and I think that we've started to talk about here. But what about like, are you like nervous about anything? Or are you worried about anything in Tier 4?
I think for me the only thing that I'm worried is the fact that when you enter Tier 4, you get the really key items, and then you have to change for ancient items. It's like the really key items are temporary.
Yeah.
Like you can't invest on them because you know that you will change it soon for ancient items. So that point is like, what will happen?
And
I feel worried
That's
also.
the point, the mainly point that I'm worried.
yeah.
I feel worried about like you are going like to have like a jump when you reach 1620. As you know, there will be like a new chaos dungeon where you will get like a box in the end where you can trade it for a part of the T4 year. So I saw Seals the other day talking about it, like saying what will happen when we get Behemoth on September. if there will be a lot of people like making that jump without even gearing up properly for the new content. I think it might be an awful experience to raid or try to make a 16-player raid when you are literally like giving a free jump of item level, but without gearing up for that content. I don't know if it will be balanced properly. Since I saw on Echidna that we had a lot of issues with the mechanics and also the damage in the basement part. I think that's what
Without
worries me the
elixirs,
most.
without transcendence. Yeah.
Yeah, you see a lot of people trying to raid on Echidna without even Series 5 elixir, and I think that's really awful.
Yeah. True.
Yeah, because a lot of people will be able to get the item level. There's a lot of people who are 1620, but they might not have the transcendence. They might not have the elixir. And then when they just get boosted up to 1640, then they're going to be dealing with Behemoth, which is supposed to be, you're supposed to have your elixirs, you're supposed to have your transcendence, but then some of these people won't have it. Because literally some of these people won't have even probably touched Thamine hard, so they probably don't even have the higher level transcendence.
Perfect.
It
Yeah.
happens often when you see like when there's lobbies without a support. The other day I was trying to make an Echidna, and I remember seeing a lobby title called support plus friend, and like in a parenthesis like saying your friend must have elixir 40 please. Since they are
Oh,
always
shit.
taking like the worst alts of their friends, and they literally do nothing when they are raiding. So I think that's
Yeah,
a huge issue for everyone.
I agree. I agree. And I mean, we'll just have to see. Hopefully, hopefully the elixir changes kind of make it easier for us to get better elixirs and things like that. But we'll definitely have to see. I
Yeah.
don't know if it's gonna help
Not
out
not
all that
really.
much.
Doesn't look great for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the chat here. Somebody says that Saint apparently said that you cannot see people's elixirs and transcendence when you get to tier 4.
Mm.
I'm not sure if they're going to change that, but if it happens, I think it's going to be both good and bad. Like people are going to have less, I guess, less information to be able to gatekeep. But then when you get into the raid, you will, just like smash your face against the wall because you won't have enough. That's to be honest, I think that's the way that you should approach raiding in general. I feel that all the attention, I've always thought that for example, the attention that the roster level gets is like the stupidest thing I've ever seen in
Yeah,
this
I
game.
agree. I agree.
Hmm.
It's just like, who told you that doing the tower from tier 1 and tier 2 like 15 times is a good, like a good maybe reference to see the skill of the player. I know this is also the kind of players that I would see on my stream, right? Because I since I do so many carries, I find a lot of new players or people that avoid raiding because raiding anxiety and whatever. And some of these people have 300 roster, and they've had it since since the start of the game because they do so much horizontal content that their roster is just like through the moon, right? Through the roof, sorry. And so all of those like I want to say like metrics to gauge the skill of a person or to at least have a reasonable prediction of how good that person is going to be have always been meaningless. All you can do is give people the benefit of the doubt. Just try the raid, see if it works, see if the group has potential, and that's the only way you can really know, for sure, if you have a chance at killing the bosses, right? And so I don't know. I feel like in that sense, that information at least is irrelevant by now.
Yeah.
I think the other day you said it was on the video that where you were commenting the problems that we had with the Vairgrys players and everything. You said that in your server, I think it was around 50 people had bought the Eclipse title.
I don't know if it was like 50 people. I think what I said was like there's probably around like 50% of like the people who have Eclipse probably bought
50%?
them. Yeah, like there's a lot of people who buy Eclipse titles, and you see it in like their gameplay. I think it's funny because a lot of the people that I play with, and a lot of people in the chat as well, would probably agree that a lot of the people who have Eclipse titles are not very good at the game. And it's because,
Interesting.
That's scary.
yeah, a
Yeah.
lot of people are buying their Eclipse titles. And I think there was a point where I was doing Echidna with some of my friends, and they went as far as to say, that guy has Eclipse title, let's not take him.
Can you imagine?
Shit.
Like the same metrics that at some point were like a synonym for a good player are now like a hazard.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy. I don't know.
Eclipse title means that you got carried and you don't have hands to play.
Yeah, shit.
Yeah. And
Well, I have no right to criticize them. I didn't even clear Thamen Gate 3, so
it's, well, I mean, it's just, it's very interesting, and kind of this topic leads me to think about, like, and I think this is a good time to talk about it because we talked about the Vairgrys video. I think it's a good kind of time to like transition into this conversation about the merge. Like, how do you guys feel about the merge so far? Like, are you, do you think it's something that you're happy about, or was it something you were looking for? Like, how has the merge been so far? I think there's just been a lot of conversation around, like, there's been a lot of like negatives around, at least from any NA players when the SA players came in. And I just wanted to, like, and this is kind of the whole point of the podcast and really like the reason why we brought this together. I wanted to just get your thoughts and opinions on like what you feel about the merge itself right now. So I guess, yeah, any positives, any about the merge, any thoughts so far about what has, how you're feeling about everything?
I think that everyone already knew what was going to happen when we were going to get merged with NA, but we also knew that as a region, we were pretty dead on that time, mainly because I feel that Amazon never did anything to take care about their South American community. I feel that there were a lot of people abusing of the regional pricing in the beginning, and Amazon simply took off the pricing, and a lot of players couldn't buy stuff from the market. I mean, from the store in general, like royal crystals, skins, and those changes, and also the lack of communication. You used to see like 2 or 4 big posts on the forums or on Reddit, like begging Amazon to actually help people, and they literally were doing nothing for us here. And I felt that we were forced to merge because everyone left. It was something natural because the game didn't have like stuff for us. We also cannot make more money because money is part of the economy of your country. We cannot like just make money like with magic.
Mm-hmm.
And since every day there were less players, I was always talking on my stream like saying, guys, the merge will be good because we will have a more active action house. We will have a better royal crystal pricing. I mean, blue crystal pricing will be better. We will be able to play until late night. There will be more people to have a fun time with, although now I know that it's not really accurate. We get kept a lot for our server name. But I think overall, like in the experience of gearing up, like raiding, it can be better. Although you have a lot of lag and ping issues, like being teleported back and server delay sometimes also. And I think the only bad part is that we have a different culture. We speak different languages. Although on SA we already used to speak English because Brazilians speak Portuguese and the rest of the country speak Spanish. So we normally had people that knew the languages. Like me, I used to talk Portuguese sometimes to make people communicate, or people were just saying things in English. So we had no issues with going into NA and speaking English. And I think the main issue for me so far is changing like the way that you position yourself or do stuff. You know, when we started doing Nakan on NA, we had to change from the Argus positioning, that is like north, east, west, south positioning. We changed to that into the X3, and a lot of people were like trying to like understand the change. they were doing Argos for 2 years, and now they are changing everything, and it's normal that they make mistakes. And a lot of people didn't have patience since they are really clear. They think that no one can make mistakes. That's actually not true. And now I feel that we still have that issue. Like on Akan, we call statues, and people from NA is like, why are you saying numbers in the statues of K3? And we're like, we call where we go. It's an SA thing. Everyone gets really confused when they play
on
with
Aegon.
us. Yeah.
Yeah, true,
I remember people of NA was like, I was like 1, other guy was like 7, and then NA guys was like, what are you talking about? And we were like, the statue
that happened to me
positioning.
too.
So actually doing things different and adapting to the new server is something that makes you make mistakes. And I think you need to be patient with the Vairgrys players because they are also doing a huge effort to adapt to your culture. And they also are talking in another language, so they are having a hard time, but they are working to do better with it. And that's it.
For sure. A lot of the things that Max said were, I think, are true. I think in general, the community needs to be more patient with everybody. I think that it is a little bit weird that we are the ones that are getting all this attention when you've had to deal with players making mistakes or just not knowing everything about the game all the time. And so, but aside from that, I think the positive, obviously, we have more players to play with. We were having the problem in South America that, we were running out of players. The community there was bleeding out players. And now, in theory, we have the opportunity to do the content whenever we want because there's always people playing the game. There's a much bigger pool of players that we could go to clear content and everything. The problem, actually, I don't know if you guys want to hear my tinfoil hat theory about the merge.
Go ahead.
So you know how they closed the Japanese region? I think it was like a few months ago, or I don't quite remember exactly when.
Mm-hmm.
And from what I understand, they closed the Japanese region because they were not spending too much money in the game, and they were also just not enjoying all the systems. So not a lot of people were playing, and they were also not really willing to put money on the game. And some of you people might know that our economy here in South America is not the best. So most people will probably not be able to spend money on this game. I think that in that sense, we are kind of our only option is to go the free-to-play route. And we really try to put effort into that, I don't want to say lifestyle, but something like that. Because in the end, we want to be as equally as geared as people that, have maybe an advantage in that sense. But so people didn't like the fact that they closed the Asian or Japanese region, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you do the same with South American players, you might also get a lot of backlash because there were still a lot of players. How do we... Now, the problem is that South American players are still not spending money on our game. How do we get rid of this group of people without making it like a diplomatic maybe hazard? We just put them on the NA region. They will get gatekept, to hell. And then they will get tired and leave. And so we can just stay with the people that still want to play our game or that want to spend money on our game. I think that's what happened. Because from our perspective, it has been almost like second-class citizen kind of treatment for us during the merge. Mm-hmm. They made us change our names. Maybe not a big deal, but a lot of people, at least for me, it was important. I tend to build an identity around my characters. And so having to change the name just feels annoying. It's just not good service if you think about it, right? Then you have to deal with the new ping, the new servers that we have to connect to are further away. So all the enjoyment that you get from playing risky, because I think that's kind of the biggest, most entertaining things about Lost Ark, is how much you can push to be risky and go for the high risk, high reward kind of things that you can do in the game. And now you cannot do that. There's no way you can do it. I play Arcana. I have to have, a crazy APM. And now it's I just have to assume that I'm never getting into Boundless Mana. I just have to accept that fact. And when I am, it's like very difficult to keep it up, right? And so I feel that this was it's just a theory, but there might be the possibility that they just wanted to get rid of the community because it was not really, having an actual impact on the health of the game and on the maybe the profit. That's what I think. Now, is it what happened? I probably not. Yet the experience has not been the best. It has not been very nice, especially seeing that we were moved to this new region where now we are like the outliers. We don't really see a lot of, like, as Max said, a lot of patience, a lot of like understanding from other people. So there's no, when the game is already like, it can't be as frustrating as it is. Now having people against you just because of from the place that you come from, uh, obviously is not very encouraging to keep playing.
Yeah. No, I mean I agree. I don't know the your theory. I mean, it makes sense. It definitely makes sense, and I think my personal thought was like it probably didn't make sense for Amazon in terms of the amount of money that they were making from South America to keep the server alive there because the server has costs.
I think that's it. That's the reason. Profit.
100%. And it ended up being that because of the drive for profit, the drive for money, merging the servers made it so that your overall experience is definitely not as good. But I mean, Tesla, I think you're the last one right now in terms of like we've heard from Mac, heard from June. Like, what do you think about the merge? Is it
So
Mhm.
for me, I have a different experience. For me,
Really?
it's good in all senses. The only downside for me it's the ping that you can't react for at the perfect timing to give the max DPS. Just the ping is a problem for me because we have a healthier market with a lot of accessories to buy. We have a slower price for blue crystal, so that free to play players can easily maintain his crystalline aura and buy skins because on SA it was hard. It was very expensive. Skins were very expensive. Blue crystal were very expensive. It was hard. And raids, there is much more people doing raids in a wide range of hours. For me, it's great. About gatekeeping, I live in a bubble, né? Because I normally do my raids with people from my stream.
Yeah.
I don't play a lot with randoms, but last week, I played a lot with randoms, and I didn't saw a problem of gatekeeping because I was Vairgrys.
Really?
It was because like I applied and was denied. But I checked the room and there was such like a player much more stronger than me. And that's the reason that I didn't enter. I was gatekeeped. Not because I Vairgys. And but I see a lot of people in my stream talking about gatekeep. But I think that's that's the real reason that you are gatekeeped because you are Vairgys. Because sometimes I get gatekeeped, but you have full level 7 level gems. Your hoster is not too high. That I know it's not a perfect reason to gatekeep, but people do this. You see the low roster, you gatekeep. Those guys had a lot of other reasons to get gatekeeped, not because of virus. And people that gatekeep because it's a person from Vairgys, it's a shame because you guys from NA are people like us, there are bad people, there are good people that play well or doesn't play well, like the rest of the world.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point.
So
I think Tesla brings a very fair point. When we arrived to NA, we were marveling at the prices of accessories. It was like, what do you mean I
Yeah.
can buy like this 6'3" garage crystal by 5K? What do you mean? What is this? Ain't no way that was
Yeah.
happening in our server, right? So obviously that was very fun for a lot of people. You know, you were able to finish your builds. You were able to aspire to higher quality accessories because they were just exponentially cheaper than what we had. That is, I think, a very big win
yeah,
in that
yeah,
regard.
big win.
Yeah. And
So what I see about everything is that, and what I see too is that playing with randoms, when someone plays badly, people try to find why is he's playing badly, and then it's all there. Vairgrys, it's because they are Vairgrys, not because it's a bad player. It's because they're Vairgrys. That doesn't make sense because a lot of people from Renatum play bad too. Because we
of
have
course.
all type of people on everywhere. But people try to find a reason to to say you are bad. But no, mostly it's because the player is bad, not because it's Vairgys. You know?
Yeah. So in a sense, it's easier to like, I guess, give a reason why this person's bad just because they have the Vairgys server next to their name. Whereas in other
Yeah.
times they have it's not it's like a title basically in certain ways is what you're trying to say. It's
Exactly,
not
exactly.
I understand. Got it. I
Like
know. Mhm.
like if you're playing good, people don't check your server. But and that's it. It's like any other person. But if you're playing bad, let's check why he's bad. Vairgys, that's it. SA people are trash. They look for the reason to say, I know, so I don't get it.
I can give you an example of that Tesla is mentioning. Last week I was doing Tiamine with my breaker. I was Cruel Fighter on gate 1. I was Upright Fighter on gate 2. I had a bad run on gate 3, and instantly Dead Blade from NA was like, oh, you're from Vairgys. No damage, Vairgys. And I was like, bro, I carried you on gate 1 and 2. And he was like,
Yeah,
shut up, you're
exactly.
from
That's it.
Vairgys. Vairgys guy.
Yeah.
And
It is very true. I think that whenever you do something right, it's never noticed,
Mhm.
and maybe it comes from the unhealthy expectation that people have that raids should always just go as smooth as they can, right? Everybody expects that there's not going to be any kind of trouble or inconvenience, and that you will be able to clear the content immediately. And so then when something happens, is what Tesla said. You see this person that is from Big Bakery, so you immediately do this like confirmation bias about them. But if we do something good, it's what you're supposed to do. What do you want? Like congratulations?
Yeah.
Mhm.
No. So I don't know. It's definitely not fair in the way that we are like scrutinized.
100%. I agree. And I don't know, like, do you guys think that there's any solution to this? Like, how do you think that, we can potentially get out this, to the other side and make it so that these problems are fixed? Make it so that, I mean, there's always going to be some form of gatekeeping, but make it so that it's not like it's because they're Vairgys. Like, do you think there's any way that we can solve this, or Amazon can solve this, or anybody can solve this?
Yeah. A marriage would be would solve partially this problem. I don't know.
Just like merging the Vairgys with like another server.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
exactly.
that would be the best thing, right? I think it's it would be the best way to have just Amazon take it or make a decision that would actually help the situation. It will not completely fix it. I feel like for some reason when you like people from NA act very weird when you don't speak English. I don't know what I think this is like this and other kind of like dynamics are the only case that we have to make for calling this potentially an arbitrary segregation, to not call it in another way, you know.
Mhm.
And it's that they act very weird if you simply, you know, kind of reveal yourself to be from South America, because there are a lot of players that are from South America, but they play in the NA regions
Yeah.
because I don't know why they have better ping over there, right? So NA has always had players from South America, right? You just don't notice them because either some people know how to speak in English, or at least they have a
Right.
basic enough of a level that it allows them to communicate just the essential things to complete the raid, or you have people that actually can, you know, talk. And so you've always had people from South America in this region. It's just that it is the first time that you have people that actually either don't know how to communicate in English, or that just, you know, prefer to play in this region, but you have a label here now.
Yeah, you are marketed as SA.
Hmm. But you've always had
Yeah.
these players, and so now, for example, I've seen many cases of people, or like even in my lobbies, if I say something to like a friend in Spanish, there's people that go out of their way to say, "Can you like please speak English? We're on an NA server," and I'm not even addressing that person, right? But for some reason, it becomes like this weird interaction where people get very like defensive if you even like speak Spanish sometimes, and that at least is weird. And I think from that kind of like interaction also comes a lot of like the gatekeeping and the biases and the prejudices that people have. There's certainly at least a degree of, you know, of something going on there.
Mhm. No, I agree, and I don't know. It just it goes back to like I think, like you said, people have always been playing in NA from South America. They just were never, and because of that, it's not like they were labeled a Vairgrys player. But there were plenty of South American players in NA before, and just people just didn't notice them. And it's only when they have that tag, that label on them, that they get gatekept, that they get, you know, attacked, they get discriminated against. And I think it's like as Tesla says, there's probably the only way to really kind of fix this issue is that if there is some sort of server merge or something like that. Did you? What about you, Mac? What did you? Any thoughts from your side?
I remember that when Amazon released the Jumpstart servers, we had an issue in South America too, because people were kicking everyone from the Jumpstart from their lobbies. And I had a lot of people coming to my stream saying like, "Hey, I made my Jumpstart account and now people don't want to play with us." They think we are all new players, we don't know the mechanics, and even if they study the raids, they don't even have the chance to try and practice them, or even if they had the title for paying bosses. People just see the title of the server and they instantly get keep you. So I feel that Amazon might have tried to merge us with other servers, so people wouldn't have like an exact number of Latin American players to get keep. You know, I feel I keep thinking that at least if with the example of the Jumpstart, we already saw on South America that when they merged the Jumpstart with the server Caceros, no one continued talking about that people from the Jumpstart were bad because there were also experienced players together with them.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel that if they mix the Latin American server with another North American server with a new name, maybe people will be less toxic to it since there will be people from North America also. I feel that it already worked with the Jumpstart, so it might be a nice fix. Although I'm still angry because when they mix us, they force us to change our nicknames. And plenty of people had to change their beloved nickname that they used for 2 years. I think that was one of the worst parts of the merge so far. It was awful to change
And
everything.
and Yeah, about the nickname, I was there to get fast my nickname, and I lost it.
Ah,
Yeah, I had characters like level 1 characters with the name because I was trying to save it so that then I could like delete the character, bring my characters from South America, and just keep my name. And the customer service to kind of solve that thing is actually terrible. I think you have to wait like for a month or two after the character has been deleted to take that name if you want to. And so, you know, in the end, it was, I think, a very bad service in that regard. What I do find strange is that I cannot think that the situation between the Jumpstart servers and us can be compared because you have basically a group of people that have been playing for 2 years in this game. The people that come from South America are way more geared than you would ever see on people from the Jumpstart servers, except for some exceptions, because I do know people that have all the characters with like level 10 gems from Jumpstart servers because of some shady stuff that happened. But the point is that the Vairgrys players have been working to get very presentable characters compared to the Jumpstart servers. So it's not very logical that we are, getting gatekept because of like maybe an experience point of view, or the fact that maybe we are not as geared or whatever, right? We have a whole trajectory on this game. So that's the part that doesn't quite add up to the situation.
mm-hmm. Yeah, and I agree with that. And I think that for it's just at the end of the day, it's just like we were talking about earlier. It really is just that label, and hopefully one of these days we will get a merge. I don't understand why they didn't understand that, and I talked about this in the video. Like they had these issues in the Jumpstart server, so I don't know why they didn't understand that for this merge they should just merge Vairgrys with another server. It just makes more sense.
It's literally the reason why I have my conspiracy theory. They saw this happen once. Like, what's going on here? Yeah. I don't want to. I wouldn't like this to be all like a podcast where we are just complaining about the downfall of the merge. What has been your experience, Miso? I want to know like what you think, or more or less what has been your experience in this topic. I think you're playing on NA West, not West, West. So you don't really see us, I think. But,
yeah.
What have been some of the things that you have seen?
I mean, yeah, like you said, I don't play on any East, so I don't really experience it firsthand. But I've definitely seen a lot of like through chat, through people, that there has been a lot of like negative biases against the people from the Vairgrys server. And even from people who are like big streamers that I don't know if they're joking or not, but definitely it does spread some form of hate, even if they are joking. Like I know Cotty, for example, has memed on Vairgrys servers before, and like people who are just memeing on the servers, like it's good fun and things like that. But I think some people do end up taking it seriously, and as a result, do kind of, I guess, end up being discriminatory against them. Originally, I had actually wanted to bring somebody from NA East onto this podcast. I was trying to get John Powell to come join, but unfortunately he couldn't make it. So I was hoping to kind of get some of the NA East kind of represented from there, but you'll just have to have me instead, I guess. But yeah,
That's great.
I've definitely seen like from the people and even like the comments in like that video, right? There's a lot of just like tension between the two groups of people, the NA East versus people from Vairgrys. And yeah, that's kind of what my experience has been. But I think, like you said, I don't want this to be like a big complaining video podcast either, though part of it was for you guys to explain like your experiences as well. I also wanted to talk about like you guys were saying earlier, there's a big cultural difference between SA and NA, and even between people in SA, depending on the language that they spoke, there was some differences there as well. So I wanted to also think about like what do you see as like differences in the way that SA players play the game and NA players play the game? That way we can just, I think there's also partly a lack of understanding because people in general in Lost Ark don't really have much patience. So when they see somebody messing up in a certain way, they're like, okay, this guy just doesn't know how to play the game. But maybe there's things that people are getting used to that they just haven't completely understood yet. Kind of like what you said, like with the Argos way of doing the mechanics versus the NA way. Like, what are some of those things that you've seen that are probably things from South America that people are used to doing and is normal, but is probably not normal in NA? That way we can kind of get an understanding and like maybe hopefully some people will have a little bit more patience when people are getting used to, for example, like the clocks, or like I heard the other day that in SA people mostly match made for Guardian raids, and if they
Yeah.
didn't have a support in there, I heard that you guys just saw them
rage
out,
quit.
right?
Yeah, the rage quit.
Yeah, and that's a normal thing in SA, right?
I cannot defend that. I can only try to explain it.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if like maybe Tesla or Mac want to say something about this, but I can make comments. No, okay. Well, so I think the reason why we do that is because I think this happens to every player, but specifically SA players, we come from a place of scarcity. We play the game from a place of scarcity. Our economy was like fucked. We had to deal with really high prices, and also we had to make sure that we were optimizing every resource that we would get on the game in favor of progression. So the reason why people get out of the Guardians if you don't have a support is because that means that you will have to use pots. If you use pots, you are burning gold. The pots are many times given by the game itself. Like there's a lot of events, and maybe sometimes for New Year, for Christmas, they give us like hundreds of like potion chests and consumables. But still, we kind of like adapted this way of playing the game from very early that was trying to really reduce the resources that you will use for any content. So if you get into a Guardian and there's no support, that means you will have to use items. I don't want to use items because that means that I'm like using gold, in the form of potions that I could be using for something else. Is that feeling of like trying to optimize even those little details because we cannot really get our hands into, I don't know, ways of crafting or using these things more. I want to say maybe more flexibly, just because it feels like you are wasting resources. And obviously that has to change. When this happens to me, and it did happen when I was still in South America, I would just do the Guardian. Even if I was left on my own, I would just try to do it. I think that maybe I would ideally I would like people to try to do that more often. That if somebody leaves, like that's no reason to just like quit the Guardian. You can still give it a try, and most of the times for most Guardians you can actually clear it. But I think that's the reason. I don't know if maybe Tesla or Mac agree with this or have seen the same.
I agree with that because exactly what you said. Because consumables were very expensive for us.
Mm-hmm.
The main reason is because we never had a lot of bots farming consumables. Only real players were farming consumables. So bots are expensive. Primorea was expensive. Everything created by consumables were expensive because we didn't have bots. So the reason that people leave it was to don't oh shit, don't use a lot of pots, a lot of consumables.
Got it.
This was the main reason. Everything was very expensive.
And are there any other things that you think people need to be a little bit more understanding about from the South American players? Like, those were just two examples, like the clock position, like the positions for the raids and like the Guardians. People are still kind of getting used to like the changes, right? Are there any other things that you feel like NA players need to be just like a little bit more understanding about when playing with Vairgys players outside of just don't gatekeeping, right? Are there any other things that you think that maybe are like cultural differences that people just need to be more understanding of or aware of?
I
I
think
don't think
all
there's
the
more differences.
positions. I don't say.
And I was just saying that I don't feel that there's any more differences. Just about the positioning mostly, because
Yeah.
we have people making guides on our languages. So normally they make
Yeah,
guides based on the
thanks to Mac,
Korean
right?
guides. So we are learning from the Koreans, in fact, and we share the same vision of the game. It's just that somehow people in SA ended up creating Argos. That is a weird hybrid. It's the only main difference that we have now. But it's just something that we
Yeah.
have to change to get used to the new server.
Yeah, you already get used to it. You just sometimes when you enter in the automatic mode, you know, farming, brochas or whatever. Automatic mode, sometimes you go to that position that you use it to go
Mm-hmm.
with all our position, Argos +1. That sometimes happens to me when I'm entering automatic mode farming, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That's the only problem. Sometimes for me, né?
I do feel that people should try to relax, as I said before, a little bit more with the game. I feel the main cultural difference is actually not related to Lost Ark. It's actually how we play games in the different communities. I've been playing World of Warcraft for like 15 years. I'm a boomer basically because of that. So um, the way that people play World of Warcraft and the way that I see people playing Lost Ark on NA now, it's like they are trying to transform this game into an assembly line, right? It's just like put all the components and put everything in a way that you will be the most optimal possible so that you can do all your dailies, your weeklies and everything has to be very smooth and like if I can speed run things even better, right? And so it's like everything is in favor of optimization. And so I think here in South America, we just want to fuck around. If we wipe once, it's whatever, right? We know that we can get the rate, but in the end, what matters for us, I think, is just to find whatever content is entertaining for us. That's the main driving reason why we play. Obviously, for North American players, I think that's also the goal. It's just that maybe the approach that they have to the game is a bit different. So, I just wanted to say that we are not trying to sabotage your raids. We're not trying to be bad on purpose, and we are not. It's not that we don't want to communicate. Sometimes we can't. I do think that these things have to be maybe, people should be more aware of these things, just so that you can have a little bit more patience until we adapt, and then eventually, I think these things are going to kind of be forgotten. But I do think that people have to remember that in games like these, like MMOs, and in like in Lost Ark, for example, in the end, everything that you have is each other. This game will not really thrive if you cannot, accept the fact that you need other people to progress. And so, just I don't know, people have to remember that because otherwise, you will continue to see the decline on the numbers that we are seeing on the Steam charts now. I don't know if people are paying attention to that, but after the merge, over half of the players of the game left, and it's been like that for 2 months already. So it's the only way. I know that it's maybe you will not be able to do your raids immediately every time. Maybe you will not have I don't know, the perfect farming routine that you want. But in the end, literally all we have is each other to succeed on this game. I think people have to remember that, and that doesn't have to do with whether you're from South America, North America. Even I think there's like Vietnamese people playing in these servers now. So
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, definitely a lot of people left, I feel, after the merge, but also I think a lot of bots probably got banned too. That probably contributed
that's
to a
true.
lot of it.
Yeah.
But I do think that the merge itself did probably make a good number of people stop playing the game just because, like you said, there is those like ping issues and ping differences, and because of that, a lot of people didn't want to deal with it. So It makes a lot of sense. I guess we're I'd say around the time that I'd say that we're gonna wrap this up. I think I had one question that I wanted to address that was from the chat from Michael. He's just saying like because it is a lot harder to purchase things and the economy is a lot different or was a lot different in SA. It probably was a lot harder for you guys to gear yourselves when you're playing in the service. Do you think that makes a lot of the SA players like their gear less like not as good, or do you guys think in general like it wasn't that big of a difference? And do you guys think that do you guys think that was a problem for you guys compared to NA? Because like we had mods, different things like that, helping us gear our characters.
I feel like we
I
are
think it's
like
better now.
I feel that we
I'd
were
say
like
so.
in a disadvantage kind of because of the pricing, but I feel that you had enough time to gear up. Maybe you will spend more gold, but we had time to gear up our characters. Maybe if people doesn't have the build, I feel that it's more like an excuse. We didn't have a lot of stuff to buy, but there were still things to buy on the market. If you see a Vairgrys player with a 4 engraving build, they are just cheapos. You don't have to justify them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't justify the cheapos.
Got it. So it wasn't really
Yeah,
too
I
big of an
agree.
issue.
I think it's much better now. I think only the SA Wales it's worse because there they could buy much more gold because the inflation. But for normal players or dolphins, I don't know, it's much better, much better. It's much more healthier for us.
Got it. Okay. Well, I'm glad that things are overall better. I really hope that eventually, maybe either A, people will be more understanding, which I don't know. That's I think that's really hard.
It's a
But
big ask.
yeah, it's a big ass, exactly. Or B, hopefully one of these days AGS will decide like, hey, let's just merge Vairgrys into another server and call it a day. I think because even back then with the jump start, like even for the longest time, even before the merges, they still were discriminated against. So hopefully you guys get that soon, or at some point slash soon. I think it will make things a lot better. But I'm glad that we were able to kind of have this conversation today, and I hope that it'll help people just be a little bit more understanding of the situations. You guys are playing with higher ping. There's a lot of differences between, or some differences between the servers, and all we can just ask for is just a little bit more patience for everybody. But before we kind of close it off, I would love to, have you guys each just like, I don't know, say any closing words, to people in like, I guess, our servers, any East or any servers, South America, like anything. Do you guys have any closing remarks or anything like that? That would be great. Just like, yeah, I don't know, anything, any last words you want to say? You could even speak Portuguese, Spanish, whatever you want. Just want to make sure you guys are addressing your own fans as well during this, because this was mostly in English, and I would love for just everybody to be included.
What I have to say about the whole topic nowadays, I think it's a little mouse percentage that happens this type of problem with Vairgys players. Mostly, nothing happens. Everything is fine, and you are gatekeeped because you don't have gems, you don't have light of salvation full. You are sheeple, you know. For me, I rarely see this type of things. So for me nowadays, it's great.
That's good.
The ping, it's the only problem today for me, and for a lot of people that I play with. And to close it in, thank you for inviting. Sorry for my bad English. I'm
No,
not
it's
used
You're
to
great.
speak.
good. You're fine.
Yeah, it was great.
I'm not used to speaking English. I read a lot. I listen.
Nah,
See a
you
lot
did
of
great.
movies. But I'm not used to speak in English, And sometimes the words doesn't come to
Está falando
say
ótimo,
what I
mano.
want to say, But thanks for inviting. It was great.
Thank you.
That's it.
Oh, Mike, do you want to say something?
Sure. I'd like to as someone that has been playing this game since the release, and I saw all those like breakpoints, like the clone release, where I lost many friends that used to play with me, and I'm still sad about it. I was talking about that yesterday. I feel that this game is really stressful. We had a lot of burnout issues, a lot of RNG systems. We had a lot of problems so far. And I think the game itself can be stressful when you FOMO. The game can stress you out of its systems. And now that you have to deal with different people, you are also trying to adapt yourself to the different culture in NA. So I feel it's a part of human nature, maybe, that we feel this tension and also we are frustrated. And hopefully we will adapt to this. And I know that the new raids are going to be of less gates. So hopefully we will change what happened with the 6 gates of Rel, the burnout, and we will move into a more like maybe a more chill experience for the casual player, where we expect that John Hack does something with that. He always spoke about making the game a bit easier. So I like to ask for people to have patience and try to tolerate each other. We ain't enemies. We are all people, and hopefully we will have a nice future playing the game, because it's a great game. It's just that we hate to play it sometimes because it's a really dense game and it generates that.
Yeah, for sure. And June, any last words from you?
I resonate a lot with what Max says. I feel that people are in a game that rewards you for being selfish. And it's a game that is trying to pressure you from many directions into FOMOing the game. So I think that maybe the whole situation that we're seeing here is just like a big strawman from people that people are making, just to take out their frustrations on somebody, because it doesn't seem that we can even reach Amazon. Smilegate is not going to talk to us ever, and so I just want to remind people that we are making an effort to adapt. We are trying. We are really trying. There's many things that have changed very quickly for us, and again, we're not trying to sabotage your raids. We're not trying to get to your groups being cheapest just because we are against you or anything. As everybody else, we're just trying to have a fun experience here. So again, I repeat, all we have in the game at the end of the day is each other, right? It's the only way that we can make this community thrive. En español también, para lo que no sé si habrá gente viendo el podcast en español, pero lo único que tenemos en este juego es los unos a los otros. Así que también la gente de SA, paciencia con NA, paciencia con las asperezas, porque en realidad es la única manera de que la comunidad pueda prosperar. Así que también recuérdenlo la gente de SA. So yeah, that's it. That's what I wanted to say.
Awesome. Well, I think that's about wraps it up. I think everybody's gone and said the last words, but everybody, again, please go, if you haven't already, go visit these guys' channel. Tesla T, it's the Mac, Legion. They're wonderful, wonderful people. Do you guys have YouTubes or anything like that, or any other socials?
It's just that all the content that I do is in Spanish. I don't know if it's going to be very,
Yeah, we work in our own languages. We don't work in English.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there's some
Mostly
people. What?
It's all
Okay.
Portuguese for me.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure there's people in like the community who are either going to be listening to this podcast who maybe mainly speak English or play in NA, but also speak Portuguese, also speak Spanish. That might want to check you guys out afterwards.
For sure. Mm-hmm.
True.
So yeah, I guess I do have a YouTube channel. Mac is very big also on YouTube. I don't think I've
I
seen
make
desktop
tutorials and stuff. I make raid guides, class guides. I make like a weekly podcast of news of the game in Russia,
Nice.
Korea, Japan.
Rest in pepperonis. Rest in peace.
We miss Japan. Yeah, so it's fun. I think
Good.
Lost Ark has a great community.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of mature people. It's not like a league community.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, you kind of put the bar so low like that. Like, no, that's fine. So yeah, thank you, Miso. I think this was like a great opportunity. I think we benefit more than you guys do from this, in my opinion. So obviously, not we the streamers. I say we the community from South America, right? So this has been obviously very important. I think for us, and we appreciate that you want to open the conversation. Many times, I think people really have these differences because they never really talk about things in the end, and so this was great. I really like to be here. I appreciate your time and just taking the time and effort to do this. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no, thank you, and I appreciate all of you like for being here and willing to talk and I guess express yourselves and communicate as well. Like you said, a lot of times it's because of lack of communication, and also because of that, there's a lot of misunderstanding. So hopefully, again, this podcast will let people have more of understanding, have a little bit more patience for when they are, but maybe next time they see a Vairgrys player, they're more willing to accept them, or like more willing to give them a little more patience and time when they're kind of dealing with kind of these changes that they have to deal with that we don't have to deal with. Yeah, awesome.
I think we should also thank to the people watching this. I don't know
Yeah,
if
of
you are going to
course.
upload this on YouTube also.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah, I like to ask people to. I mean, they should check your channel because I've been watching you lately, and you're doing an amazing effort for everyone. When I
Thank
found
you.
your channel, I was like being bombarded by YouTube. You were making videos like every day, and I was like, cool. I feel really proud of this guy. He's doing a great job. So I like
Thank
to
you.
congratulate you for
True.
your effort. You're doing great.
Thank you. I
Those
appreciate it.
those last videos of Tier 4 helped me a lot too.
Yeah. And also, you're a
Same.
Twice fan, so great. We're Twice
Yeah.
fans too.
Let's go. Oh, yeah. Thank you guys so much. And again, everybody, if you haven't checked them out, please check out these three wonderful people. And yeah, I guess that'll be it. And I'll let you guys go off onto your own streams and do whatever you guys need to do. Thank you so much again. And
Thank you.
hopefully we get to, do like maybe I'll make if we ever get merged East and West, we can do some raids, or I can push up my East characters and raids
true.
with you guys, and it'll be a lot of fun.
I just hope to be around by then.
Good idea.
Yeah, that will be fun. We can yell together.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, again, thank you guys for being here, and I hope to see you guys again soon. Bye bye.
Have a good one, Miso. It was great.
You guys
You too.
too.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Gracias.
Thank you guys.
Bye.
Thank you guys.